up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing fantastic. We got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Anna, Bill, Brad. Good morning to Cindy, Jay, Jeff, Joe, bright and early. I like it, JT. Good morning. We got Lauren, Lou, Marius, Martina, Matthew, Mike. Good morning to Peter, Shane, Tim. The squadron is piling in. Tim says, "Are we muted or is it me?" Let me know if everybody else can hear me or not. My system shows I'm talking. All right. Joe can hear. Peter says, no, it's you. Marius, good. Lou, okay. It looks like we got some audio. What about my YouTube people? Can you guys hear me as well? We got real virtual demands. Good morning to you. Santilla, good morning. All my lurkers in the background. Hit that like and subscribe button. Real virtual demand says, can you look at SPY and VOO? It's not your first time here, real virtual demand. You're a veteran. You don't act like you not been here before. But yeah, we got SPY always on the list first. So we'll get into that. But if you guys have other tickers, let me know. Damien from YouTube land, good morning to you. Whew. But yeah, we got SPY with a little gap up, so that mostly comes off of we had some earnings, which Home Depot and who was it? The CMG report. But we had a ON reported, I think, but a couple of reports, nothing great in that, but PPI kind of saves us. So PPI in all metrics comes in lighter than expected. That's going to give the market a little bit of a push. Yesterday's candle is red, so just going off candle to candle, this would be a gap and go. We also have CPI tomorrow, so we got some big numbers coming in tomorrow, which this is like the stretching for the main event. I think the market should move a little bit bigger off CPI. But yesterday's candle was more or less, we did break out at one point, but more or less inside day. Even though, I mean, even that was kind of just a retest gap. I don't know how much this is going to be the gap and go scenario where it runs. It might, but we do have all of the earnings or not earnings, but we got CPI tomorrow morning too. I think this one's going to be a little bit more like a retest, even though it's a gap and go. So we'll see. The only thing that might change that, and we still have 25 minutes, but the one thing that might give us that little extra boost is this candle right here, and we're still inside of it. But the candle from August 2nd, we're at least above where we open on this one. So I think we have to look at the high end of that candle. So if we get a little bit of further move, this probable 536.97. Let's see if we get it to the penny. Let's see what the high was. High was 536.99. Essentially 537. Look for that to be a little resistance. Anything past that, we will have that 50 EMA coming in. We're gonna have that 20 EMA coming in. We start to get into this. It's not quite the gap fill, but at least into that little. What was support should be resistance. So I think that's going to limit the upside. And then I think we have to throw all of the work into CPI tomorrow. So if we're going to get above this, we're going to need some light CPI numbers, some numbers that the market's going to like, gap us over this 539, especially if we could gap over 541.70. So if we start getting above this zone right here, we're back in this territory where we could actually continue to go bullish, and we're above some moving averages. We're above this longer term. We had that gap up over here. We had the retest right here. We broke down. So for today, I think there's probably a little. We'll see. Unless the market just starts anticipating great numbers for CPI, and then the problem is, if we get great numbers, that's already expected. And then if we don't, the market gonna crush lower. But we'll see. But I think today's move might be a little muted. I don't think, not like muted in the sense of like you guys can't hear me, but more or less like I don't know how much range we're gonna put in today. I'm a little skeptical, but let's just go with the volume zones for today. Even into this resistance, there is not a lot of volume. We are above that previous last one, so that's still bullish. The next target would take us up to this 541.70. So that's that's really the next spot on my chart. I don't have anything else ahead of us. The only thing again is just anticipation for tomorrow. We do have some little bit of support resistance. So could we get a crazy day today? Yeah. But again, if we could make that move today, I think that's a lot of people going, well, PPI was good, so CPI might be good too. And that's going to throw a lot of weight into tomorrow. If we get there today, I probably will buy maybe some SPY puts into CPI tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see if that's a reality for today. We'll see if we get up there today. That would be a pretty crazy day getting through all that, blowing right through that previous resistance. So we'll see. Otherwise, for me, I'm gonna put my bigger target right at that line. So 538.88. That seemed to work a few times before, so we'll try it again. But if the market wants to go a little over dramatic, which I can see is getting there, um, I'm gonna get some protection getting into tomorrow's CPI. I think that would be a good gap fill and look to just see what happens at least on the numbers. But maybe not too heavy, but just some protection to the downside. Qs, similar story. Not a great range that we have on the Qs. We're opening right at that 100. Again, yesterday's candle was pretty much a do nothing. Like we spent the whole day just waiting. We had a little bit of range on both sides, but nothing too crazy. We did hold that support. We kind of came in, retested this 450.05. We actually broke through that. We actually retested this one back here, this 448.32 zone. So at least for the bull case, that's already been retested. So that's good. We are getting a gap up above it, but again, opening right into that 100, we still have yesterday kind of being an inside day candle after a bullish move. I think it kind of acts as a little bit of a pullback. So we'll see what happens to the higher side. Again, we got that 100 right in front of our face, and then we're going to have to deal with 457.03, and then the next target up 458.01. If we start breaking through that, we'd have a pretty crazy bullish day on the Qs before 62.35. So I don't know. Peter says, aren't we just chopping around today before tomorrow? It can go anywhere. Yes and no. Yesterday, I think, was more choppish. I think yesterday, that's a good question. Yesterday, I think, was more choppish because we had no information. The only thing we had was the little memories from last Monday where the entire market just absolutely tanked and we kind of ran back, and then we're sitting where the market was pretty much closing. But we had PPI on the list, we had CPI on the list, we still have jobs coming out. I don't know if we have any Fed talk this week, but we didn't really have any new information. We had some potential war news and things like that. Now we at least have PPI coming in, so we already have the data that already came in light. And now I think the bigger difference today, besides the fact that we have PPI, is we have anticipation for CPI with maybe a little bit more bullish expectations. So I would have to stay bullish. But I don't know if we chop as much as we did. I think we put in a little bit bigger range than we did yesterday. And I would have to say probably if we do dip, if we do retest, I think those buy the dippers. Even looking into, let's go to Home Depot first since they reported. But even looking into Home Depot, let's go to the after hours. And their earnings came in at 13-cent beat earnings per share. They did beat by 590 million surprise beat, but I don't know if their guidance was bad or what. The numbers weren't horrible. But this one already, I mean, we sold off from wherever we got the close, right around 345.98. We'll call it 346. We ended up pushing all the way down on earnings to 327. That's a big move. Yes, we had PPI coming in, but we're pretty much almost right back to where we closed. We're still down a little bit, but that was a big move back. So again, that's the buy the dippers coming in. We got ONON. Same thing. Earnings here was probably a little different. Yep. So they missed on earnings per share by 10%. They did have a surprise beat by 5.17. Markets not too happy with them. for whatever reason. Maybe it was the earnings per share, but we sold off. We ended up hitting like 35.50. We ended up closing somewhere around 39.50. So it's a $4 move. Not only did PPI help bring all that up, and this is probably your 840 candle, yep, 830 candle. We're breaking out. Not only did we end up rallying back, covering all that, but we're actually positive for right now. So again, more or less, regardless of what company it is, you're seeing the buy the dippers actually stepping right back in. So I think we have a little bit of probable bullishness where if we do get the retests, we probably get those buy the dippers just anticipating. So that's the one thing I think that changes, that we just have a little bit of more people willing to buy the dip than we did, let's say, sometime toward the end of last week, because then the dip was already bought back. And okay, where do we go from here? Right. All right, we got Meta, we got Uber. Meta. CMG's down 7%. Take a look at that one too. Even that one I think started getting bought back up. We'll see. Meta. Nice gap there. Yep, we still have range on this one. We're just into a little bit of a volume zone from back in April. We're still inside this big kind of gap up, which was a retest candle. We've made it all the way back up through here. I think it's not a bad location. I think we probably end up going bullish from here. Again, it is a gap and go, but it's an inside candle from the day that broke out. I probably wouldn't go long right out of the gate on this one. I would see if we could get back to this 514.83 zone. See if we come back down a little bit. Otherwise, if we do break out, probable next target would take us to 529.60. So it does have about $10 to the higher side. Maybe we don't even come into that support. We'll see. But I think you're waiting at least for some kind of gap fill. 518.29 at bare minimum, and then see if we get a little bit lower somewhere into this 515.21 zone. Keep in mind too, on these markets, like last Monday was not that long ago. If anybody was buying dips last Monday, so let's say you got Meta right out of the gate. We did go from 451 all the way up to where we're opening right now, 519. And we got a big number coming in tomorrow, CPI. I would suspect somebody's like, okay, this gap's cool. I'll take it. We survived another one, and you might see those little bit of a bigger pullback just into the retest zones. So I'd be watching for this 515 somewhere around there. See if we get a little bit of a further pullback, but it does have some range. We still got some room higher on it. Uber, the Ebs, again, green candle yesterday. Not bad. You are into a little resistance at open here as well. Also with there's a whole ton of resistance. The high end of this channel is probably about 71.89. So I'd be looking for some kind of target into that if you are going bullish. But same thing, quite a few days of just absolute rampage. We got some good numbers on PPI, so I wouldn't be surprised if this one kind of pulls back. See if you get that retest of 69.11. It's got some room higher if we start kind of breaking, but lots and lots of resistance on Uber up there. We got CMG. Yep, so gap down on CMG. Eventually, stocks start to kind of fall in line closer to valuations. But here's a beat by 6.7%. They did beat by 32.9 million. That was back then. So that was a good beat on them. Did they have news? They had to have some kind of news. Starbucks stock soars after Chipotle chief names new CEO. Oh, did I not like the new CEO? Starbucks chief executive officer stepping down immediately. So this is news on Starbucks. Mm. That it named Chipotle Grill CEO Brian. So they have a new Chipotle shares. So is Starbucks taking the CEO from Chipotle? Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Uh, Long term, I don't think that probably affects Chipotle too much. But obviously, Chipotle with that CEO has had a massive move, but not great news for them. This is definitely gapping out to the bear side. You're opening into a little bit of support here. Again, I don't know if that's going to really affect the stock as much. I don't know who the replacement CEO for Chipotle is. Hopefully, they didn't just swap CEOs and just take the guy from Starbucks. You do have good resistance. I can see this one coming down a little bit further though. I'd say see if we could get this thing at 49.82 would be your spot. But valuation is still very, very high. Are we starting to get into, yeah, we still got some volume down there. Anything past probably about 49.28-ish. I think that would take us down to 46.45. We would be getting past that Monday candle on this one. And then I'd be cautious on buying until we at least look to get to 41.28 longer term. But for day trade, depends on when this thing opens. If this thing is opening anywhere above 51.08, I'd say long. Anything lower, you still got some short on this one down to like 49.84. If that breaks, you're looking to continue to hang into those shorts. Let's get CMG higher on this list. We'll see how this one goes. But it's not. It's already moved a decent amount to the downside. I'm not a big fan of continuing to go short just because CEO changes. Although he does seem to be a favored CEO for Chipotle, so maybe a little bit. You hope he didn't take the rest. Yeah, Starbucks just going to start offering burritos. On the same note, let's look at Starbucks. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that CEO, so I don't know, but Starbucks seems to be loving it. Massive gap up to $90 from 77 at the close. Why didn't I know that? Why did I not take out some calls yesterday? Those ones are getting get paid. But again, even Starbucks, this is going to be opening right into big resistance on this one, big gap up. I think Starbucks should be looking for almost a fade. But congrats to any long-term investors picking up at this $70 range, 74, 75. I wouldn't be really freaked out and collecting a good divvy, but nice little turnaround from some bad earnings. We still got to get to the next earnings, see what's changed and what the new CEO wants to say about the company. But my guess would be pretty much all positivity. But nice move on Starbucks. But I don't. If you do want for long term, I'd probably wait. I wouldn't get in here today. I think we do come a little bit lower. You probably have targets to the downside somewhere around 87.16, and the low of that range would be about 84.55. So we will see. MU for the chance to take your money. Anytime MU has a good setup for us to give some money back to the market, I'm in. I like it. Let's go. Round 72. Uh, Great close yesterday. Really, really good close. Obviously, we got that wick, the whole kind of market. A little nervous about PPI coming in. So, next immediate target would probably take us to 97.95. And then we have about 99.11. If we really get going, we could hit 101.29. That would be a big one for today. Most likely. I believe everybody's probably looking for that gap fill. This is also a retest. You are taking out some of the bears. Just based on my trading history on MU, I'd have to wait for this pullback, which essentially means we probably just open and run on MU, and they don't let me come in. But I'd be looking for like a 94.88. See if we can get a break there, and then or we hold some kind of support. Usually, once you see a little gap fill. As soon as you start getting to that high range, it's very, very hard to beat it that first time. Very hard to just automatically get into it, and then that's it. So I think we get that pullback, see if we get some support back at this 94.88 zone, and then I think it's good to go on MU. It's already, yeah, probably put it higher on my list from yesterday. Okay, so that's there. We'll watch it. I'm nervous thinking about it because it is MU. Palantir, although we'll try to get a good streak going. So last time we played it, we did have a nice win. So we'll see if today we gives us an opportunity for 2 out of 2. Palantir, interesting candle yesterday. This is scary. And I think they have news on Palantir today too, where I don't know if Microsoft was kind of partnering with them on something, but I wasn't quite sure. But this move out of the gate was insane. I mean, we went from $30.26 all the way up to 31.21, which is essentially where we had our targets for yesterday. So ran right into it, up a strong dollar, no pullbacks. Everybody wanted a piece, and great volume. Obviously, also kind of coming in with that opening price, but that second candle also really good volume. As soon as we started taking out that candle, it was just kind of a slow bleed for the rest of the day. We closed kind of low, so pretty big reversal candle from yesterday. Today looks like we're gapping up a little bit. Looks like we are over the VPOC, at least the good volume zone from yesterday, and we're trying to get today's in there higher. We'll see. But I'd have to go back to look at that candle again. Wherever we open on that candle, right underneath it, I think is going to be our strong resistance. So if you're trading it today, look for like $30.19 if everything wants to remain bullish and this thing kind of keeps going. But we are at least a little bit higher than yesterday. It's probably a little bit oversold, uh, just on that daily perspective, intraday perspective. But we have to get through 30 again. And then I think that takes us right back into that zone where anybody that did buy it did not have the chance to get out. Look for $30.19 to be a strong resistance, I think, today. Still gives you about 40 cents to the higher side. And if we start getting back up there longer term, I'm still okay. I'm not really holding it. I mean, I'm not really trading it, selling it, anything like that. I'm just going to hold it and see what happens. But I'm up massive on the position. So it's one of those things where if you're just up a lot, you just keep holding. Like what's the risk of like selling on smaller moves? As long as nothing with the story changes, but a little bit of a gap up on that one. Nice. VOO. Let's take a look at this one. This one's gonna move pretty much mimic the SPY for the most part. I would say same analysis. You still got those two moving averages coming in. Targets to the higher side. Watch for like 497.33 on this one. But it is a gap and go. Yesterday was still inside day candle. I think this one probably maybe initial reaction bullish out of the gate, but I think we end up fading and look for some kind of retest of like 490 on this one. And Tesla. Tesla. So I do have some calls. I'm probably selling this at open into this resistance. I'll regret it later, I'm sure, but it is into that big resistance still. All of this is still just chopping around. I think I'm going to take my gains. In fact, let me put that order in now. Trade, sell, market. And then we still have the swing trade. We still have the swing trade open. Preview, place, got it. Okay. Um, can we start breaking through? Yeah, possibly. It is a gap and go. We are probably squeezing some shorts out. Elon did the interview with Trump yesterday. Regardless of what was said on the interview, because I did take out right at the end of the day, right at the close yesterday, I took out some calls just in case they did something. I think Elon was even like trying to get on the board. He was trying to create his own board at one point and then put himself in it. It's like, don't you think we should have this board? And then like Trump was a little all over the place and kind of got off topic, and then Elon went back. He's like, "Yeah, but what about the board? You want to do that?" And Trump's like, "Yeah, I think that would be good." He's like, "Yeah, I can really help out with that board. I should be on it." So like, but like the even before anything that was said on the interview, I was like, "Uh-oh, Twitter's having some issues getting everyone logged into the actual call. I think they were like 38 minutes late, something like that." So I was like, "Oh, there goes my calls." But we're still in this range. We got this really big resistance ahead of us. We still got into probably about 199.77 and big target 201.14 until we start closing above that. And then we're gonna deal with the 100 and the 200. But I think we're still in no man's land, so I don't think we get really good risk reward either way. So we'll see what happens on that. We got 3 minutes till open. Microsoft is another one I do have some calls on as well. Got grab some of those at the end of the day too. I might be holding this one a little bit longer today. I'm trying to, we'll see. But I'm trying to hold it to about 411 and change. We did try playing this one yesterday. We actually made 1.4 on it, so it wasn't bad. We got out the first time, but there was two or three other opportunities in Microsoft throughout the day. So this kind of chop fest did provide some decent range on it, but this is a good gap on Microsoft. So I think one to watch and to continue to watch till about 412 on this one. Let's see. Am I missing any? We got SMCI. SMCI. Gapping up a little bit. Really good breakout day yesterday. I like where that VPOC closed. This one still has some more range on it. It's actually got room up to about 607. So let's get this one higher. Probably one of the better ranges I've seen for today, which is good. Again, retest gap. See if we get any type of pullback. Not necessarily getting to this 546.52. If we do, that should be the strong support for today. But even some kind of smaller pullback and then see if we can go higher from there, I think would be decent. Let's see what else I'm missing. What else? Nvidia and Disney if we got time. Nvidia is I have an alert there. My VPOC's disappeared, but it's got a little bit more room on it. I'd be looking for about 115.37 on like a really good day. We just screamed bullish. Probably would not buy this one right at open. This is also kind of into that resistance. So see if we get some selling. 109.70 would be your spot. You're looking to see if there's any support. But that is the opening bell. So everybody out on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that